I'm going to go ahead and give a brief introduction of myself and my co-moderator, Mr. Matt Phil. But I wanted to share a little bit about my backstory, how long I've been at A&N and why I love working here. So I started at A&N 5 years ago as an intern. I was 20 years old. I don't know why anybody let me work at 20 years old at a mortgage company, but it worked out pretty well. So now I'm a vice president here at A&N. Been in the industry, like I said, 5 years. Last year did just over 20 million in volume, hoping to break 100 in the next couple. Big dreams and really great people around me supporting me to do that. A lot of us at A&N are family, so I got into the industry because of my cousin who's here somewhere, Landon Hoon, so I'm on a team with him. And yeah, that's kind of my backstory and why I'm here today. So thank you so much. And now to introduce my co-moderator, Mr. Matt.
Thanks. Yeah, my name's Matt Phil, Vice President of Mortgage Lending here. I've been in the industry for 10 years. I've been with A&N for a little over 2.5. Absolutely love A&N. The other two companies I worked for were much larger institutions. I think there's an extreme benefit for working for a smaller company. Certainly here at A&N, I kind of joke with Neena from time to time and tell her that there's not a single one that we can't do. It kind of aligns with what Dean was saying, where we have products for everything. So if you have a unique situation, maybe someone else isn't getting it done, feel free to reach out to us. We're always happy to give a second look. In terms of my personal production, starting at A&M in 2023, I did about 8.5 million, did a little over 24 last year, on target to do close to 50 this year. So shout out to a couple team members here, Andy Smith back there, I got Bailey Schiffman somewhere around here, and I've got a loan officer assistant that's at the desk right now making sure everything's going smoothly. So excited to hear these people speak. Thanks.
Yep. All right. Now let's meet who you all came here for.
You mean the food?
Yeah, the food, right. No, we're going to go down the line. If you guys could just tell us your name, brokerage, how did you get into real estate, share any important accolades you'd like to include, brag a little bit. We want to hear why you're up here and why you're so successful in your business. So first off, Kate.
Hi everybody, I'm Kate Newey, the Hat and Heels Realtor on Instagram, and I got into this business right after COVID. I got in the business because of my husband who's over there and the rest of my team. And I thought it was absolutely crazy. He wanted to get into real estate. I was an owner-operator of fitness studios across the Midwest for almost 2 decades. And I was just tired of it. COVID was like the perfect pivot for me. So he got his license first. I started off as his assistant, and now the joke is I'm his boss. But I mean, like, we love it so much. Like he was like, "Hey babe, let's do this. This will be fun." I'm like, "No, like let's build a company and let's actually like grow this." So we've had so much fun over the past 6 years working together and growing. We hired our first full-time employee this year. We're hiring more people. We're hiring more agents. So we're going from a tiny husband-wife team to big. We did our best month last month. We did over $200,000 in GCI, so never in my wildest dreams could I have imagined that could be made in 1 month. I remember why I got into this was because I just wanted to make 6 figures, and then I hired a real estate coach, and he's like, "Yeah, but what do you want that 6 figures to start with?" And I think that just blew my mind how it's just such a endless ceiling in this business, and success can mean anything different to each of us in this room. So we started off just doing 25 deals a year, and to us that was success, but each year we kept making more money because we raised our price point, we raised our prices. So that's what excites me about this business and the people in this room. Again, success can mean something different, and that's why we're all here to network and brainstorm together how we can live our best lives.
Hi, I'm Casselyn Tertell. I work with Compass. Let's see, hold on. I'm reading the notes, what I have to tell you guys about me. My social security number is, so I started real estate in 2007. So if anyone wants to do some quick math, I'm not 25. And right when the market crashed, and I remember my mom's like, "Why the hell are you going into real estate? The market just crashed." And I said, "Well, if you can learn now, you can learn at any time." So boots to the ground. I took every lead that no one in the office wanted. That was when they had floor time, and just worked really, really hard. And my main goal was, I had a note, and I actually just found it in an old wallet. It was make $100,000, and it was like, and you can do it. And it was folded up. And I still keep it because I'm like, it's just really good to see where you came from and started from. And then my next goal was be 30 under 30, like the NAR 30 under 30. And then I got that goal. And then, which is on a fun note, I get to MC the Mastermind this year in Chicago. So that's a fun one. Grew up here. My husband does not do real estate, which is why we're still married. I major props to people who do it together. Like, I just could not. Let's see. Honestly, I just think that it's really important in real estate. Your real estate journey is to always just be humble. Don't say no to taking a smaller transaction, or you're nervous to do a larger transaction. Ask someone to help. Always reaching out. Having a real estate coach or a mentor or someone to look up to are really big things that help push you to succeed. There's probably more, but that's good for now.
That's great. Thank you. And Dean met with you.
Yeah.
Dean met with you right when we got out here.
When you guys opened up your
that was
office,
kinda neat. And I don't think I've ever met you before.
I thought I had. No, we did, because we met at the infant welfare event.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
I was like, no, I was
that
like,
was a great event.
yeah.
That was great. I'm Neena Vlamis. It's nice to meet everybody and you in person. I opened A&M Mortgage in 2002. One of the reasons I started to get into mortgages was because I bought my first rental property at the age of 24. I thought every single year after that I would continue to just buy real estate. And what happened was you had to pay all those bills, manage the tenants, and then it was really hard to scale once I had kids. And Dean's been very helpful with that, though. He's changed 80% of the diapers for them with that. That's been great, you know. But I think that, you know, when you first get into the business, you know, don't focus on just one product. I did that with first-time home buyers, and literally that was all I did. And you realize with time, you're going to continue to have, like, the first-time home buyer goes to the second time and the third time, and then all of a sudden, 20-something years later, the parents are sending you their kids. So I think making your niche programs that you're working on a little bit more wide, that would be one thing that I would do a little differently.
Cool. Really quick, just to brag on Neena, because she doesn't brag enough. In 2020, we broke $1 billion as a company, which is huge for such a small, local to Chicago brokerage. So I'm really, really proud of you and grateful to work with you. But yeah, we're small but mighty. Anyways, let's get to the panel discussion. We're here today to hear from them on how they not only scaled between the city and the suburbs, but maintain growth in both of those markets. And if, in case you've never been here before, kind of how it works. There's 3 topics that I break down all the questions into, and thank you for everyone who submitted questions on Eventbrite. That's how I come up with the discussion, so I really appreciate it. Each question is going to be directed at a specific panelist, but if someone else has something to add, please feel free to jump in. So our first topic is going to be growth tactics and lead generation, which I think we could all learn about, including myself, so I'm excited to hear from you. First question is for Kate. For brand new agents, where should they start to build their client base, and how do you stay in touch with your sphere and meet new people?
Great question. First of all, who are the brand new agents in the room? I know there will also be a replay. Don't be shy. Any brand new agents in the room? Cool. A few. So for brand new agents, there's 2 ways to do it. You can either pay for leads or find your own, right? So I think the least path of least resistance is to build your business off of people you already know, your sphere. Some people say, you know, they make the worst clients because they're the, you know, biggest critics and why'd you get into real estate? But I think the more you can talk to people, the more you can sound knowledgeable about real estate, the more your friends and family are going to want to hire you. And don't be a secret agent. If you don't post that you're a realtor, nobody's going to hire you. If you don't say, here's what I'm doing every day, no one's going to hire you. If you don't show up on social media and make it look like you are busy, even if you're not, nobody's going to hire you. So as a brand new agent, I think the best thing you can do is show up, show what you're doing. Even if you're not doing deals, even if you're not closing transactions, even if you have 0 clients, the absolute best thing you can do is show that you're busy and that you're working. And the most important thing is show that you're knowledgeable, show that you know the market, talk about statistics. If you're on a team, use the numbers of your team. If you're a solo agent, use the numbers of your brokerage. So I think that is the best thing you could do. And then the other question was, how do I stay in touch with my sphere and meet new people? Well, you guys know I'm Hat and Heels Realtor is my personal branding. I'm wearing a hat right now. I already had 3 people in this room before we started this panel ask me what this is on my hat. So I do things specifically and strategically that are conversation starters that are gonna get me talking to people. And people are like, hey, like, what's that thing on your hat? I'm like, oh, it's Beyond. You heard of Beyond? It's that club in the city. Now, again, I'm in the suburbs, so again, a beautiful transition, city to suburbs. So just have conversations with people, and conversations are going to lead to appointments, and we know that leads to closed deals. So that's that.
Anything to add?
Tour. Go on tour.
Yeah.
See the inventory that's out there, especially if you're new and you have no business. Go on tour. Take a photo of the outside of the house. previewing homes for clients today. Well, who knows where that client is? It's, but my point is touring. And you said one more thing that was great, and I don't remember what I was going to tail end onto it. Yeah.
Tour and post? Is that the
No, it was touring, and there was something else, but it can't be that important then. But
That's okay.
yeah.
Cool, thanks. This question's for Casselyn, and maybe it goes a little along the lines of what you were just kind of finishing with there, but what are one or two ways that you go about generating cold leads outside of your normal network, and then kind of finish with talking about how you're landing listings right now?
So website, being really higher ranked on Google helps with getting cold leads. So that is something that if you're thinking of investing in having a website and your Google business page, working on your social media is a great way. I've been doing this quite some time, so I get a lot of listings either from referrals, past clients, and then the next thing is the more listings you have, the more signs you have out, the more people drive by, see your name, call, and ask about it, or say I live down the street. And that's, last night at 10 o'clock, I get a lead from someone saying, I saw your website, I think you'd be a good fit for my family and I. So that would be my biggest promotion. The next is if you have someone in your office that's a heavier producer or things like that, and they do open houses, ask to sit their open houses. Mm-hmm. You can get leads, buyer leads. A lot of new agents tend to stick with buyers just because it's a little bit easier than a listing. And sit open houses, get experience, shadow people. If you don't know how to sit in an open house, ask to sit with someone else. A lot of agents are happy to help other agents. I feel like a lot of agents that are successful tend to want to help other people because there's an abundance of real estate. It's not, it doesn't matter if there's a million realtors or four. The same amount of people are buying and selling.
Yeah, I have that too. And one more thing to add to her point on your Google business page, even if you're new, try to get reviews from people that that have done business with you in a previous job, or let's say
Attorneys.
or your vendor partners, attorneys, mortgage lenders. So start building your reviews from people that you already know that again haven't necessarily transacted but can speak to your professionalism and your service and your personality.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This one is for Neena. Are you using AI or technology to help with marketing and follow-up? How important is automation versus the personal touch and the human touch in your business?
So I'm really big on templates, and what is our saying? Say it. Wait.
We said, what was it? Automate the ordinary, humanize the extraordinary. Mm-hmm. We learned that yesterday in our
It
sales
was good,
meeting.
right? Yeah. I love that. It was so good I couldn't remember it. So I use Copilot as the AI, and I have that integrated with my Outlook because I use Microsoft, and I find that it's really easy to do and use the templates. I have notes on everything in my system so that when you're doing the human touch and you're having a conversation, you kind of get sidetracked, right? Or you're talking and you're thinking about what you're talking about, and the easy stuff you just want to hammer out and make it as easy as possible. One thing that I love about A&N is we have a design studio, which is catered to people that don't necessarily want to pay for marketing in-house. So if you have an open house, we can put together flyers and everything, and it's all done automatically for the people, and we can get things out to your open house as quickly as possible. So that is one thing. So AI, you got to be adaptable and you got to be ready to make the change. And if you don't know how to use it, I can probably give you a few tips after.
Yeah, I think AI has been really interesting for me because being younger in the business, I think people really assume that I know what ChatGPT does and can do, and that's just not true. And I think we use it a lot as inspiration, especially creatively. I type in a prompt and it inspires me with captions and things like that, but I try not to rely on it too much because you don't want to get lost. You don't want your human touch and your personality to get completely lost, in my opinion. Sorry.
I love that.
No, it's all
No,
right. Kate, in 22 and in 23, back to back, you won the Best Social Media Award from your brokerage. Will you talk about some of the videos and the content that you were creating? I obviously follow you, so I know that you kind of cross both business and personal, which is something I like to do as well, and I know everyone kind of differs with that strategy, so if you wouldn't mind touching on that, I think it'd be good.
Yeah. So for any of you who do follow me on social media, you know I'm a little bit sassy. And I have a really big personality in my videos. Like I perform, like I'm a theater child, I sing, I dance, I act, whatever. So like I am performing on my videos. That's why they did so well. That's why they went viral. That's why the talking head style for me worked so well. Now you get another agent who's like, oh my God, Kate, I'm like terrified of the camera. There's no way I could do that. Great, do faceless tours. Like you should do what's matching for your personality. So I'll just speak again to what worked for me. This might not work for you. So the style of video, if you look at my Instagram and you scroll to my reels, you'll notice that 90% of my videos are all talking head. What's a talking head video? It's from the waist up. It is just me talking to the camera, and then it's my amazing videographer and my amazing editor doing quick cuts, quick black and whites, quick in and outs, quick zoom ins, but it's just me on camera talking, and I'm using one technique that gets everybody's attention every single time, and that's storytelling. And when you show up and you can tell a story, and then there's an arc, and there's a beginning, a middle, and an end, and there's a point. Most importantly, there's a hook at the beginning. So if you're the type of person that you're like, yeah, I think I could like do talking head videos and get on camera and talk about something, and but why would anybody want to listen to me? And this is the important part if you're, logging this mentally or taking notes or watching the replay. The important part of the hook is not to make it about you. This is where so many agents go wrong. They say they say my listing, and they say my team, my numbers, and they make it about me. And guess what? Nobody cares. Like you could be the top producer and they're like, great, what's in it for me? I win listing appointments to the #1 agent in my town often because I don't go in and talk about me. I make it about the client, and I talk about how I'm going to help you, how my marketing helps you. So it really is about that subtle shift of your language. If anybody's into reading, an incredible book to just shift your perspective, to shift your language is Exactly What to Say by Phil M. Jones. I was really grateful that I got to spend some time in NYC with him and actually like workshopping and training and mentoring with him on his body of work. If you're not familiar, Exactly What to Say on Audible is the #1 most listened to Audible book on Audible ever, like on the planet, and it's incredible. So it's subtle shifts in your language that you make about the other person. So to wrap this up about the videos, why they go viral and why they're so important is because I'm storytelling with a point, and then there's a call to action, and there's a conversational ending where people want to comment. And they'll either razz me, they'll either hate it, but it gets comments, right? Or if they vibe, they're like, oh my gosh, yes, or that's an instant share. So you want to create shareable content that creates conversations and get people going in the comments. And then by the way, when you comment to their comment, that doubles your comments. And when you comment on their comment with a question, that now triples your comments, okay? So that's how I got my videos to go viral. Now I'll wrap this up and land the plane, but what happened was I started making these talking heads. They were going so well. If any of you would follow Glenda Baker, she's the one that kind of pioneered like the talking head. My friend Zachary Faust up in Delaware, he pioneered the talking head on TikTok. He's millions of followers. He's the most followed realtor on TikTok. He's great. But they kind of pioneered that talking head. Why a lot of agents don't land it is again because of that storytelling, because of the hook, and because they make it about themselves. So if you take away anything from what I just said, speak to the person, hook them quick. You can watch some of my reels to get ideas of hooks. It starts something like, have you heard about, did you know, or oh my God, you'll never believe, or like asking a question, and then I get really animated and say, absolutely not, and then it just goes in. So if you need ideas, rip off and duplicate anything I did, like I don't care. But they went viral and they created conversations. And the clients care because they see my personality, even if I'm not talking about real estate, to your point, like I make some reels about books, right? But they see my personality and they want to work with me, so.
Can I follow up with you?
Yeah.
How many clients do you think you get from social media? And I know that's a loaded question because it could already be people you know in your sphere that social media helps like land you as a realtor, but do you ever get cold leads, and what kind of content do you think generates those?
Yeah, I get cold leads all the time from the reels, right? But the most important thing is your social media is like your business card. It's actually gonna be the people in your community that are already following you, but they're like, oh, what's she up to? Oh, how does she work with her clients? Oh, like she does that at closing. So it's more of like this walking advertising billboard for your clients that they wanna work with you. So anytime I meet people, I say, hey, are we connected on Instagram? Cool. Even today, somebody said, Kate, do you have a business card? No, connect with me on Instagram. I'm Hat and Heels Realtor. Boom, we connect. I'm gonna send her a DM later. We're gonna connect. That boosts her to my algorithm. Now she's gonna see my stories at the top, the bubbles. I'm always keeping my stories going. I'm now commenting on her. So, like even though she's a vendor, right? Like we're still gonna have that relationship. So to land the plane answering your question on how people buy real estate from me through social media, it's because I actually care about them and I'm actually social on social media and I don't just make it about me. So I actually scroll through people's stories and I comment when their kid graduates first grade and I comment when they have a baby and I send them a handwritten note that my assistant wrote when their dog died, and then they call me and they're like, oh my God, Kate, that was so sweet of you. You know what, we're having a baby and can you come list my house? Swear to God, hand to God, true story. So that is how I get clients from social media, because I care, I connect, and I talk to them. And I'm not just talking about me. Yeah.
I want to reiterate what you just said about, this is such a hot take. I hate business cards. I don't have them. And it's for that reason, because I think when people give me, or if I give someone my business card, the control is in their lap. But if we connect on social media, or we connect and they have I have their number, I can follow up.
Yeah, and one more thing.
It's such a hot take, but I hate business cards.
Yeah, and better yet, pro tip, if you're networking and you say, hey, cool, are we connected on Instagram? Great, I'm Hat and Heels Realtor. Sometimes they'll be as aggressive to say, pull up your phone really quick. Hat and Heels Realtor, they put up, hey, shoot me a DM really quick so you're at the top of my inbox and I don't lose track and I can connect with you later and follow up and remember how we met. If you really want to take it a step further, let's say you're at a real estate conference, make them pull up your Instagram on their phone, make them DM you right in front of you, and make them pull up the camera, take a selfie, and put that in the chat so you now have a visual memory of where you met them. Like, savage, but this works, and that's how I get referrals from all over the country all the time at these conferences. I'm telling you, just like be a human and be social.
I love it. All right.
All right, cool.
That was good.
Yeah, confident shit, okay. I am afraid to post on social media. All right, let's move on to the next topic here. This is going to be to all panelists. We're going to talk about navigating both the city and the suburban markets. I recently moved out to Clarendon Hills in the last 6 months, so it's something I'm sort of dealing with and learning how to handle. Obviously, Neena, you're out here as well. We both try to maintain both markets, so why don't we just start with you with this question, and then we'll kind of hear from everyone. How do you market to both city and suburban clients without kind of confusing brand? I guess you need the microphone.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. So I grew up in Downers Grove and knew the western suburbs very well, which helped, and that was part of the reason that we left to come to Hinsdale. But I think the brand is the brand. We are debating, do we get a new Instagram account for Clarendon Hills? Should we put these things on there? But I do think a lot of the clients that we've had for over 20 years, they see in a newsletter that we're sending out, A&N is in all of these states. We're moving with brick and mortar into these states and giving some clarity to it. Marketing was against the Instagram separate page because they do think it's going to confuse the brand. So listening and hearing everybody's opinion is really important. I think having a couple extra pages is not a bad thing as long as they're well maintained. Because one page may not be in all of the algorithms. I hope I win that argument. We'll see. We'll see if
You do own the company.
I do.
So.
Yeah, I always forget that. So yeah, but definitely following up with newsletters and where you've been and what you're doing. We do that monthly as a company, and I think those are very, very successful.
Will you go to Casselyn?
Hi. Make sure if you do the 2 pages, make your main page a collaborator, and that gets put on both pages, and then you're not losing anyone. Just pitching to, if you want to win the argument, that's your next pitch.
I like these ladies. Process.
So I am a suburban agent. I work in the suburbs. I don't do a ton in the city, but I have a large team under me, and I have a few of our agents live in the city. So when I tend to work in the city, it's usually someone that's coming to the suburbs. So they need, hey, you need to help me sell my place. Okay, great. The benefit of having agents in the city is they can do the showings for me. Or we call us, oh, hey. I was like, that's my mom. And so that's probably the easiest way. I do it that way. And then on my page, it does have listings on both sides when they're listed in both places or just sold. But I'm 95% in the suburbs. So this question, I'm just talking to hear my voice.
So do you refer to the city?
Yeah, talk about how you handle.
Tell us.
Okay,
so the client comes in. What do you do?
Okay, so we have about 30 people on our team, and we've had a few that live in the city. So I would just say, hey, Katie, can you help me with this one? We'll share it. I do the listing presentation. I do pricing. I do that stuff. But then when it's showings and things like that, she would be more heavy on doing those things. So I refer it to someone in my team.
That's perfect.
Yeah. Now, if I didn't have anyone, I probably would honestly, unless the price point was worth it, I probably would refer it to someone in the city and just say, listen, that's not my expertise. I don't want to steer you wrong. I want to do what's best for my client, and maybe not having them as a client is what's best for them.
I like that. I think it's also important when you're trying to scale in both sections and areas and locations is realizing you are one person. You are lucky to have a large team, but not everybody does. And what we've kind of noticed is, like, when we share in things, we learn more, we help people more, and we grow faster in a kinder way.
Yeah, and what my husband Dan and I started doing was just realizing we can't be everywhere always, and we can't be everything to everybody. So how can we niche down in such a great Chicagoland area? And that's build out our team. So now we can say, look, if people call me from, YouTube or Instagram and say, hey, Kate, I want to work with you. I'll be like, great, here's how our team works. You actually don't want to work with me. You want to work with Tracy, because Tracy is the expert in XYZ neighborhood of Chicago, and here's why. So then I close the deal, tee it off, and then hand it off to Tracy, and she'll close it. So I think, just finding people who are experts, in the area that they serve, and then sourcing out and not being afraid to refer. Like, I refer up north all the time. Like, I don't want to go to the Wisconsin border. I just don't. So I think having great, strong referral partners and building out your business to look the way you want to look it, and then, being super confident. Like, if you cannot name one school, one coffee shop, or one fitness center in the area where you're selling, you have no business selling there. So you should be able to speak to those things quickly with the clients. And if you don't know, you better study before you have that appointment.
Awesome. Thank you. This one's kind of an interesting one, because you just said you're mostly suburbs, but your team's in the city. So I am curious, and you mentioned Google Business too, but are there any kind of platforms or websites that get more traction when it comes to leads in the city versus the suburbs? Maybe that's a better question for all three of you to answer it as well. But does your Google Business seem to be predominantly suburbs, or do you ever get city referrals from anything online?
Google Business is, I've worked the algorithm to focus it more in the suburbs, but I'll get a Wild Wild West one, and you're like, oh, okay, we didn't see that coming. Sometimes you'll get something like Northbrook, and I was like, that isn't my area, and I don't know it. I don't know what the good school district is, but then one of our agents grew up in Northbrook, so I'm like, hey, do you want that? So it works out in a way that way. I feel like I kind of already answered most of it. I am a firm believer of having your own website. I get most of my stuff from my website. I probably get a lead a day from it. Now, are those legit leads? No. Are a handful of them out of 20, maybe 5 are decent, probably. But that's also just follow through, reach out, email, call, text, however way you can reach out to them, it doesn't get bounced back, then it's someone that's legit. But yeah.
We should chat, because my website sucks. I get 95% of my leads from Instagram. So again, people I know in the community that are following me on Instagram are cold leads. But this just speaks to how you can build your business however you want, right? So it's really cool
And
that
you can help me build my social.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
I think, too, what I've noticed since we've been more prevalent out here in the suburbs, it's new for me, and I know that you said it's new for you too, is that the value that we bring to our clients in the city is so different, and the products that they need is so different than out here. So it's been a shift for us. And even when I'm posting on social media, my target audience was always home buyers, but now there's home buyers in the city, investors in the city versus home buyers in the suburbs. It's a completely different target audience in my experience. I don't know if there's anything that you...
Well, and being in Clarendon Hills, I'm pretty loud. We're a very small town, and so being local, people love the concept of, oh, you're down the street from me, or you, for me, I'm chairing Walker Fest. You are running the fundraiser for the school my kid goes to. You know the area. And then to one of our first questions, did you see that house down the street that got listed? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's $850,000, but the kitchen needs a whole gut rehab. Knowing your knowledge, checking the hot sheet every day, it is your job. Working real estate like it's your job is so important, but that's the one benefit of a hyper local agent in the suburbs. Is it's a little bit different spin than the city, where investors are I don't really care, I just want 8% cap.
Yeah. And I think it depends where your leads come from too. Like if I'm getting a referral from California, they just know I'm a great Chicagoland realtor, and then again, I can refer them to someone on my team who specializes in that exact area or that exact neighborhood. So again, but to your point, you can also market strategically just to 1 or 2 suburbs and you can have an incredible business. So I think, again, that just comes down to the beauty of what we do and how we work, and you get to choose what kind of company and business you want to build.
Cool. Do you want to move on from the topic, or do you want to stay on it? Okay. Kate, let's stick on the same topic. So we're talking about managing clients living both in the city and suburbs. So sometimes that can create long travel days for you, I'm sure, with showings. So what boundaries and expectations do you set up front with your clients to avoid that unnecessary back and forth?
Yeah. There's absolutely no way I'm going to show somebody from all the way West Loop to all the way out in Geneva. It's just not happening. There are days when my husband and I do have multiple different clients that we do have to have long travel days. However, how we set the expectation with clients who, and I'm sure some of you guys in the room can relate to this, you get a client who's like, hey, I'm Sally, I want to move to Chicago. You're like, great, have you narrowed down city or suburbs? They're like, no idea. And now it's your job to play tour guide. I'm pretty sure we all don't want to be paid to be tour guides. So what can we do to educate them before we get to play tour guide? So we have an intake form. And every single buyer that comes in fills out our intake form. It's not your generic intake form. It not only asks them what, city or suburb or where they're looking, their budget, their name, their address, their phone number, all the things, but we want to know their pet's name. We want to know what they put on their pizza. And we want to know their coffee order. And we want to know if they have any dietary restrictions. I'm giving you all of our secrets, you guys. And we want to know what their favorite celebratory drink is. So even if they're a cold lead, never talk to them, I hit them with this intake form, they're like, whoa. These people care about their clients, or they're like, what the heck? And they're curious, right? So either way, you've hooked them. Then we have the buyer consultation. That's a 30-minute Zoom consultation we have with every client. I don't care if you live down the street or in California, you're getting on Zoom. So we can record it if we need to. So if, liability, any reasons, we can say, hey, we told you this here. But most importantly, so that we can share our screen and share our buyer guide with them. And in our buyer guide, we show the areas we serve, we show how we work and how we can help them. Again, making it about them, not about us. But to dial into the specific question, we set the boundaries and expectations very clearly in that buyer consultation. So later down the line, there is no question, hey, when we go see houses, we're never gonna go see more than 5 at a time. What we found for most people is when we go see more than 5 houses, you're not gonna remember the kitchen from house 1 to house 4. You think you will, but you won't, because we're going to have bathroom breaks and coffee breaks, and you're going to take phone calls, and it's going to be a really long day. So what we found most helpful for clients like you is we're going to start out in this neighborhood, in this area on this day. And then we'll figure out how you feel and where you want to go the next day. So if they're uncertain on city versus suburbs, we break it down into a 2 or 3 day tour, no more than 5 houses per day. And then we sell them within those 3 days. And if anybody is seeing more than, let's say, 10 to 15 houses with our team, we're doing something wrong. We need to then dial down what their true wants and needs are, ask them more questions, because we all know most buyers don't actually know what they want, and sometimes they'll buy the wild card that, hey Kate, no split levels. What do they end up buying? A split level. So having them hear your boundaries and expectations in your buyer consultation is what we found as a team to be so successful with that city-suburb divide, and then not having to drive all the way around. Do you have anything?
No, it's good. That's great.
I thought I saw you. Sorry.
No, I was nodding. Like, yeah, that's what I got.
And I think, as a lender, I work with a ton of different agents, and I work with Kate a lot. So we work together all the time. And I think a lot of times realtors will show clients everything they want to see because they want to serve them the best. But what I have learned from working with you is that, like you said, buyers don't know what they want, and it actually makes for a better experience for them when they're not seeing 30 houses and getting confused and overwhelmed. So I really appreciate that for both of us. A, I don't have to run 30 numbers on different properties, only 5, which is great. And B, they don't get overwhelmed, and they usually buy what you show them.
Yeah, and one more thing. Yeah. And one more thing I think is important sharing is, and I learned this the hard way, I had my most high net worth client. We still haven't closed him. We're still working with him. My new agent, Tracy, is also assisting on this deal. He makes over $1 million a year, right? But he cannot decide for the life of him what to buy. And what I realized was we're sending him all these properties to go through and look through, and what we're actually doing is doing him a disservice by giving him homework. So now we're giving him all these options. He's overwhelmed. And what he really wants, what your high net worth luxury clients really want, is for you to make the choice for them. They're hiring you to make the decision for them. They're hiring you to give them the advice, because all they do all day is make decisions for other people, and they're tired and they're exhausted, and they're hiring you for your expertise. So, you know, you could have that imposter syndrome and feel like, well, who am I to pick this guy's condo? But sometimes that's what it takes. And we have yet to close him, but that was kind of like a hard lesson we learned in getting into that, you know, higher net worth human, is you make decisions for them.
Yeah. I will say though, sometimes you get clients who are like, I want to see these 20 homes, and they send you the list.
Yes.
And what I have found that helps narrow that down is I go each listing and I said, okay, 123 Main Street doesn't have a primary bath. You said that was your criteria. This one only has a 1-car garage. It's somehow, when people start looking online at so many homes, it blurs what they originally wanted to what they, well, we feel like this could fit. And then when I explain it in an email, boom, 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 all of a sudden that list of 20 homes just went down to 7.
Yep.
And they're like, you're right, I don't want that. I didn't notice this. I didn't notice there was no basement. I didn't notice. And so again, it's our job to educate them instead of being a tour guide.
So here's how, if you're a realtor, you're gonna narrow that down using AI. If they sent you five properties on Zenlist, you're gonna put the prompt, check out these 5 properties, give me the skinny on it. And then it puts it together, and then you can literally put it back to them, edit it in your own words, but it'll say no primary bathroom. And then you're not individually having to look those up. And it is so fast.
Genius.
Yeah, genius.
It's great. I was covering for a realtor, and that's how I discovered that. I go, I don't have the MLS. What am I gonna do? I gotta help this guy. He's a one-man team, and he's on vacation. Boom, popped it open, prompted it, and it was gold. He goes, thank you.
All right, we're going to move on to our last topic here, shifting markets and strategies. Casselyn, this one's for you. We were talking about this a little bit before we started, but how do you talk pricing to sellers who might be emotionally, detached or out of touch with the market? How about buyers that are maybe afraid to offer over the list price in a competitive market?
It's my specialty, angry, emotional people. So, statistics. That is your best friend in this market. I show up with the comparables, I explain it, and I show them the property, why their house in comparison to their neighbors, why their 1,000 square foot home is not worth their neighbor's 5,000 square foot home, even though they're like, well, but we've been here forever. And you're like, that's great, and the kitchen is too. And so when you show them the photos of the other home and you show them why it went for this much over list price or why it went for this price, it helps take the emotion out. And that's our job is, I'm sorry, you have a very lovely home, but we do need to take down the 30 photos of your past dogs. I'm not kidding.
And
this
there
actually
remains, yeah.
There was a house I just sold that had that, and I had the buyers, and they're like, we don't like dogs, right? And they ended up buying it, but it was one of those things they just kept coming back to the doghouse. So let's take it all down so that people can envision themselves here. You guys have great memories, but let's let the next generation have their memories here too. Buyers about going over asking price. I think in today's market, it's easier than it was 6 years ago. In today's market, it got listed Friday. They already have 3 offers, and you guys want to offer. Here are the comparables in the neighborhood, but here's why you have to go over. And and sometimes what I like to call the come to Jesus moment is, if you lost this home, how upset would you be? What kind of be upset? I go, well, now if you lost this home because you didn't go 5 over list price, how upset would you be? Well, I mean, that doesn't change my mortgage at all. I've actually brought in lenders sometimes to help with this, where they say, your payment now just changed $40 a month. Oh, that's not really that bad. I would have thought it would have been way different. And I think that using the people around you, so lenders, attorneys, help, but also just, again, statistics.
Thank you so much.
Huh?
Kate, this one's for you. How do you keep clients updated without overwhelming them about changing interest rates and market shifts, especially if the market shifted quick, like from the first buyer consultation to when you're still waiting for them?
Instagram and social media, because people choose what they consume. So that way you're not overwhelming them if they choose to watch your stories every day. And guess what? You better believe I run through that list of who's watching my stories every day. And you better believe I am taking mental note of which of my clients are watching my stories. So now I just saved myself an hour of time of texting, hey Sally, did you see the interest rate drop? Should we do a refi? No, I know she already saw my story. Or I see she liked it, even better. Or even better, she already DM'd me from my story saying, hey, I think we should refi. So I'm just posting consistently the content that people want to see, and they choose when and how they view my stories. If you guys, and again, I'm talking about my Instagram as just an example, I hit burnout really, really bad a couple years ago, and I got sick of posting and making all those talking heads I was telling you about at the beginning of this panel that went viral. I really stopped doing them. Instead of posting every day, I was really posting once a week, and then instead of posting once a week, it was posting once every other week. So the thing I'm most consistent now is stories. So when you're exhausted or you're burned out or you don't have enough time or you're having a new baby and your life is turned upside down, you don't have time to make content anymore, it's not that hard to post a story really quick of behind the scenes, day in the life, what you're doing. Hey, market update, Savannah making marketing materials for me. I just post that story and then make it interactive by asking a question or, putting the emoji slider or putting a quiz. People love answering questions and engaging with your content. So that's how I keep clients updated, is I just post and I see who's consuming it. And then now I know the people I do need to text who haven't watched my stories, because again, I just try to connect with every single person who's on social media, connect on social media.
Do you batch film?
Yeah, I batch film. So when I do work with my videographers, I used to have a videographer on retainer. I would pay them a certain amount per month. Now I pay them per quarter instead, and I have 4 different videographers. So when I batch shoot, I have about 6 different outfits, and I spend 8 hours batch shooting, and that gets me about 3 months of content. So really it's one day of lots of coffee and just shooting and talking. Yeah, and even if it's not 8 hours, right? Even if you just have 4 hours in you, a half day with a videographer, show up. You only have to do your hair and makeup once. I throw on a million different hats, and it looks like I make content every day. People are like, I see you everywhere. Like, yeah, I worked like 1 day a month doing that. It was great. Yeah.
Wow. That's impressive. 8 hours of filming? I don't know if I could do it.
But 3 months worth of content.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
All right, Neena, this one's for you. I just want to answer it myself. But I'm
You can do it.
No. Maybe we'll tag team it. What's the best way for realtors can navigate conversations about interest rates in a shifting market?
I'm gonna have you pretend I'm me.
I'm you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see if you were right.
Oh, so you just want me to answer it?
Yeah.
Oh.
As if you were me.
I don't know. I don't think
Let's play the game.
I can't do it. I'll be myself. Listen, I was having a conversation this morning with a very good referral partner of mine, a very thorough individual, very educated. And the biggest thing that I can do the biggest thing I can advise is that everyone stays within their area of expertise. I'm not going to try to answer questions about houses. I'm going to refer the clients back to you guys. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to try to answer legal questions. That's Nico's job, right? So I try to impress that on the agents as well, that when you are setting up home searches and you're trying to put together payment quotes for these people, you need to rely on me to do that. I'm going to be the one that gives them the money. So send me the addresses before you go show. Let me put the accurate payment quotes in front of them, and then no one's wasting their time. A lot of times these listings might not have the most recent tax data. You might have missing HOA dues if it's a private listing. So lean on me to go dig out that information, provide it back to the clients. Everyone stays in their area of expertise. The client gets the best service. So there's no way you would have answered it that way, but
No, it was good. It was
you would
really
have
good.
been more fun about
I
it.
wouldn't have used the AI prompt on the
Yeah, yeah.
payments. I actually would not in that situation, but I would use it to pull up the HOA dues.
Sure,
So,
there you go.
yeah, that was good. You're good.
All right,
You did
cool.
perfect. Nailed it.
This is our last scripted question of the day, and I'm excited to open it up after this if anyone has
I can't wait
questions
for
for the
the avocado
panelists. But I want to hear from all of you, what keeps you going on tough days, especially with all of the market changes that we're seeing recently, and how do you maintain a reasonable work-life balance?
Alcohol.
Wow.
That's done.
You just hand me the
Yes,
mic.
mic drop.
Mic drop.
What keeps me going on tough days? The longer you do the business, I think the tough days are easier to handle. In a weird way, I think you just get a tougher skin and don't take it personally that someone's very emotional about something. it's really one of my best pieces of advice with the changing markets is if you have a listing and the other agent has a buyer and their buyer is very emotional, reminding that agent not to get emotional to you and just keeping a really good working relationship and reminding them, listen, our job is the meeting of the minds. We come together, we work together. I have no ill will to you if your client cancels. It's not your fault that your client doesn't want the home or something like that. I think those are very, very important things. Yes, boundaries. Work-life balance. I work out in the mornings. That helps alleviate stress. And then I've also learned, I'm not an open heart surgeon. I'm not an ER doctor. If I don't respond to you while driving my car and I respond to you in 15 minutes or an hour later, the world will keep turning, your deal will not fall apart. And setting those expectations to people where we are so in front of our phones all the time. I was at a closing recently and my admin posted something about a client or a house or something, and she's scrolling through Instagram, she goes, do you not post your social media? I was like, no. And she goes, my mind is blown. I did not know that I go, I approve everything, but I don't physically, I go, how could I be showing you guys homes and sitting at the closing with you? And she goes, I never thought of it that way. But it was like, you could see her mind crumbled in that moment of not realizing that we don't do everything. And I said to her, I go, you have a new kid. I go, how are you going to do everything with it? And I think that sometimes it takes reminding people that we do have personal lives at times that have nothing to do with real estate. And that's why I also think it's important when your business page should have some of your personal life in it. So to humanize you to people.
Go ahead, you want to answer?
Yeah, hang on, you go first. I'm just thinking for a minute. I'm like, I have no life.
You're like, what's balance?
What's that?
Yeah. What keeps me going on tough days is remembering my why. And another really great book, if anybody in the room is big into reading, is called The Gap and the Gain. And I just listened to this one with my husband in the car because we do a lot of hours in the car together. We try to divide and conquer and do showings separately, but sometimes I do work with my husband. It is fun hanging out with him, and I love being passenger princess. I can work while he's driving. It's great. But I remember my why, and the Gap and the Gain is a book that talks about not living in the gap, meaning like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do. Oh my gosh, I'm not hitting my goals. Oh my gosh, my deals are falling apart and dying. And just living in the gain, and instead flipping your perspective and thinking, how far have I come? Where was I 5 years ago, 10 years ago, a year ago, a week ago, whatever, and just having that perspective of like, wow, what's the gain? Like how far have I come? And so that's what keeps me going on the tough days, just remembering my why and like having that gratitude and being grateful. And how do I maintain work-life balance is my husband, because I forget to eat and I forget to like take a break, and I don't take care of myself half the time, and I literally couldn't do anything without my husband. And my incredible team. We have Danielle, she's our full-time director of operations. She's here in the room. We hired her in January, and we hired her on literally a dream. This sounds so cliche. I went to her with a job offer and I go, I cannot pay you a salary. I can pay you from closings for the first quarter because it's going to be slow. But then if you trust us, if you believe in the vision, if you believe in the company, if you believe in our core values and what we're building with our team, I could cry. I love you so much. I can pay you a salary and get you on payroll and give you health care and give you paid maternity leave and all these beautiful benefits and wonderful things. And she said yes. And her family signed off on it, and she left her job of 10 years to come work for us. And I said, I want you to be my partner. I want you to build this company with us. And are you in? And she's like, I'm all in. Let's go. So you better not quit tomorrow. But I keep work-life balance because I found it's not like, again, we can't do everything. So it's finding people who you want in your corner, and not only in your corner, but building something with you. Because again, I'm a team lead, but I don't call it the Kate Newey show, like I call it Live Chicago Team, because it's all about us and the brand that we're building. So that's how I keep work-life balance, is remembering gratitude and my people.
Again, I don't have work-life balance. I'm the worst person. I work 16 hours a day. Yeah, it's not.
I'll answer for Neena. Neena has turned A&N into her work-life balance, and we're all genuinely friends. Because in real estate, I think what both of you are saying is you spend a lot of time with the people that you work with. Like, obviously you work with your husband, so that's a different level. but working somewhere where you enjoy does make it a lot easier because you spend a lot of time with them. But also we talk a lot about delegating, so having a team around you, even, I don't know if anyone in the room is like 5 years or under like me. I'm considered probably newer compared to all of you veterans. It's new for me. Like at the beginning, you just want every single opportunity to yourself, but sometimes saying no, setting a boundary and delegating will free you and free your clients up just even more than you could even imagine. So I don't know if that speaks to anybody, but that's my 2 cents. That's me speaking on Neena's behalf.
Thank you, I love that.
Do you want to?
You did better than I did.
Yeah, you did good. You both did great.
Okay, that is the end of our scripted questions. I really would love if people could be brave and share any questions that you wanted to ask.
Wow, it was a lot of hands
Yeah,
fast.
please.
You can have the mic. I don't know.
You can have the mic. Yeah, we'll pass it down.
I don't know if I'm allowed to.
We need a run.
I'll walk around. I got it.
Thank you, Casselyn.
Okay, so I have 3 questions.
Yes, please.
Number 1, I know Katie, you were talking that you were team lead, and you were talking about coaching. I'm kind of on the fence with that because I'm in a team, and I'm like, why should I spend money on coaching if I'm a team lead? I don't know. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah.
I got it. I gotta get my steps in. We've been sitting for an hour.
So all coaches need coaches. I mean, Michael Jordan had a coach, right? Tim Grover is now this incredible motivational speaker for a reason, because he helps take people from excellent to excellence. And if you are your team lead, right? I heard you say.
No, I'm not.
You're not a team lead.
So why-
Okay,
why
you're
not go
not.
to
So
your
the
team
question
lead?
is, if you have a team lead, why would you need coaching? Okay. So eventually you're going to have the knowledge that you're building and learning from your team lead, and that's great, and that's one perspective. And so the more people you can have in your corner, the more eyes you could have on your business, the more perspectives you can have on what your goals are personally that are maybe not conflicted. I don't want to say conflicted, that are not tied directly to your team lead from an outsider perspective, the better, in my opinion. So I invested into coaching, put the team lead aside because I didn't even have a team at the time. I was just working with my husband. We were just both realtors. And I hired a coach because I said, I want to get there, and I want to get there fast. So I think the question is like the speed in which you will get to where you want to go when you hire a coach. And I couldn't afford it when I first got into coaching. I sold my last gym. I sold it at a total loss, and I was negative and debating actually filing for bankruptcy. I couldn't even afford it. My husband wanted to murder me. And I put it on a credit card, and I was like, they have a guarantee where you get all of your money back if you don't make the money you want to make. So I went to my coach and I said, Coach, I got to make 6 figures. He goes, what do you want us to start with? I go, 100,000. Help me make 100,000. Boom, made that in year 1. I go to my coach, year 2. Okay, cool, let's put a 2 in front of it. Let's make 200,000 in a year. Boom, did it. What do you think I did year 3? Let's put a 3 in front of it. Yay. Awesome, did it, right? And now we're growing and scaling, and you heard me say last month we did 200,000 in GCI. Again, I don't say this to brag, I say this because you have to believe in yourself and you have to believe in the potential, and your team lead is great and amazing, but that's just one person who's tied to your business. Find somebody else to give you perspective. So that's my thought.
To make you
You
accountable.
1000% need a coach.
Yeah.
I have a coach. I've closed $5 billion in my lifetime at A&N. You need a coach. I started coaching yesterday in a new class. I'm going with you to Texas because I want to see how she's coached. Coaching is mandatory.
It also makes you accountable. I have a coach. Like it, every 2 weeks, it's okay. You said you were doing this. Did you hit it? Did you not? And as team leads, we want to be as much with our clients as possible, but it's our agents as possible. But at the same time, we also have business. We can't always keep our agents accountable as well. Like, you know, to take the next step, sometimes you have to take the risk on yourself.
Yeah.
I feel
And
like
you'll never be able to afford it. You'll never be able to afford a court. You're gonna think, I can't afford this. Like, I'm spending $100 a day to meet with a coach 2 times a month, but it's $100 a day. But guess what? I'm gonna be better the next month because I'm accountable, right? And I'm having Billy from our office help. Now Billy's gonna learn a little bit more because he's got to fill out my forms for me, right? But great, he's gonna learn more too. So it's good.
Yeah, and I'll pass it back to Savannah for the next question, but I'll wrap it up with this.
Get the coach.
It's the coach, but it's not only the knowledge that they give you, but it's the connections and the referrals that you get. So I think about maybe 10% of my business this year will be from referrals from my coaching program. And all I need is one referral to pay for my coaching for the whole year if it's a $800,000 house, like paid for in one referral because of these events and these networks I go to.
Oh, and also, if your coach is not a good fit, it is okay to change. Like, you might not get lucky in your first round.
Yeah.
Did you have other questions or are you good?
One more, sorry.
What?
One more.
You just scream it. I'll repeat it.
You were talking about marketing. You know, I think it's so saturated with agents now, West Suburban, wherever you go. How do you stand out to market yourself, pretty much? Because I feel like we're fighting for one vote. In a way, when you market, like let's say Hinsdale, there's like how many people that are agents? How do you market yourself? How do you stand out?
The question is how to stand out in a saturated market, specifically with millions of realtors all marketing themselves in one area. How do you stand out?
So what I've noticed, I'm not a realtor, but what I've noticed is the consistency from the realtors and the connections. Every single relationship is different, right? So she's getting her business from Instagram. She's getting her business from Google Pages, website, right? I'm getting my business, I'm handing out business cards and I'm sending a consistent newsletter that I've done for 23 years, right? So the consistency behind it. But the connection and the human connection with each person is always different. So I may come to you for something because we had a bond. So it doesn't really matter how oversaturated it is because there's plenty of business to go around. But it's that human connection on, do I trust you? Do I trust her? Where is that human connection and how are they differentiating themselves is usually by that personality, right? So I'm not sitting on Instagram. That's why I pass out my business cards, right? So you get tired of shooting Instagram, but maybe they had the business card in their pocket and they remembered and then they were like, oh, I'm going to use that because I had that card in my pocket.
Consistency, advertising, local magazines, things like that, but also being like in your area, be the expert, volunteer. I get a lot of my business from the charities that I volunteer with too. Like people, I get a lot, hold on, rewind. I get a lot of name recognition and then all of a sudden name recognition and then on Instagram they're seeing me more often because they're getting emails from me because of charity things that I do. There's a way to get in the business without it being business related. And kind of whatever you can lean on in that aspect. You're an avid rock climber, then, you know, put photos of you rock climbing or a local rock climbing magazine. I don't know. I'm coming up with
like a rock climber?
Every day. And I was actually talking about rock climbing with my niece and nephew this morning, so that's like why it came to my head. That was the first thing that came to my head. No, but I'm just saying, like know what you know and what you do, and people want, like attracts like. So that's what I said. Like if you're an avid rock climber, like you probably enjoy having clientele that are rock climbers. Or for me, like the local, like I volunteer in Clarendon Hills in multiple charities. So people know me because I am someone in their community. Hinsdale is a hard market to break into because there's a lot of top producers there. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You just need one, and then you're in. So,
Sorry, other questions? Yeah.
I think Dean probably had a question.
I want to follow up on Casselyn. Concept, we talked about Chicago. We moved here 4 years ago. Chicago doesn't have a sense of community. We live in Lincoln Park, and every kid on the block goes to different school. We know it's a sense of community. We talked about the charities that you're involved in. That's got it. I'm can you elaborate how that's helped your business? Not that you're doing it to get business, but you're people know who you are because you're involved in the community. Just talk about that.
Name recognition. It helps where people see my name so I was the co-chair for the Clarendon Hills Infant Welfare benefit that we had in February. So almost every month in the local magazines and newspapers, my name was in there about it and a photo of something I did. And we purposely did a photo shoot at one of the new stores in town so that she got business and then now she wants to follow me on social or things like that. So and then the next month is, since I would place an ad, a real estate ad. And then the next month would be an infant welfare thing or or going to get sponsorships from people. People know like, oh, you live here. I get it. You want to help our community. So I think it doesn't necessarily help with business in the fact that you're like, oh, instantly I'm getting a client. But it's, my name is known as Casselyn Equates Real Estate in Clarendon Hills. And so that's how it helps. And then
A lot of C's.
a lot of C's. And so I would say that's probably the best way where it's just like saying like what you do, lean into what you do and your area.
So I know how I met you with the Clarendon Hills Infant Welfare. I thought there was just one infant welfare, and I pledged to donate, but I didn't know there was a Hinsdale one and a Clarendon Hills one.
Yeah.
So I ended up having to donate to both, but that's how we met, and that's why we ended up going to that event that night.
Yeah, you guys had a
It was
table.
great. And
Yeah.
now we're together. Like, that's so nice.
One last thing to add on that about your community and like breaking into markets, even when there's a lot of people in said market, is to post, again, I'm talking about social media because that's my thing, but I belong to 5 different fitness clubs, okay? I go to 6 different salons. I don't just visit one, I go to 6. And I go to 6 salons in the areas that I want to sell real estate. And I go to the fitness studios in areas that I want to sell real estate. And I use my past in fitness, 20 years in the fitness industry. I still teach 1 to 2 classes a week where I want to sell real estate. So I am living my life in the areas that I want to do business. And then naturally people are magnetic to me because they see that I'm in the areas that I want to sell. And then let's say you don't, you can't afford memberships at like 5 different places or whatever, go to a coffee shop. Post and tag the coffee shop. They will repost you. Make sure that your name is, has realtor in it on Instagram, or if not, like they will then click on you and see that you're doing business real estate in the area where that coffee shop is. So give love to other community Instagram pages and they'll give love back to you, and then people will connect with you that way.
Does anybody else have a question they wanted to ask? I thought of one, so I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and ask it. Specifically to Kate, I think you get more business from other realtors than any other realtor I know. Can you speak a little bit about how you can get business from other agents in different markets and maybe even in your market?
Well, you all know I do real estate coaching, so that aside, let's say you're not in coaching, go to conferences. Go to events, go to things like this and talk to people, because again, I might be, thinking, why would I want to go talk to another agent in Hinsdale if I want to break into Hinsdale? Because they might get a client who interviews them that is not a match for them, but then instead of losing the sale, they call you and they say, hey, I just did a buyer consult, or I just did a listing presentation. They didn't like me, it didn't go well, but I said, I can't do it for this, or like, that's not how I work, or this isn't a match. Would it be helpful if I connect you with one of my referral partners who's incredible? It's gonna treat you the same way I would treat you, do business the same way I wanna do, but since we're not a match, I think you'd really, really benefit from working with this person. Would that be helpful? Yeah, great. Now you have a referral fee. So it still is prudent to make connections with people in your same market, because you guys, we thrive on collaboration, not competition. Like, there is enough business to go around. Like there really is, if you put in the work, and not the toxic hustle, and I won't, speak to that, a whole other tangent, but like really, truly just building connections. And then the last thing is just the conferences. Like, I'm taking you guys to Texas with me in August, and there's gonna be, tens of thousands of people at this conference, and DM me on Instagram if you have questions about this. But when I go to these conferences, I never say, hey, I'm Kate from Chicago. If you need a referral partner, that's me, call me. Ick, no one's gonna call you.
Right. Delete the email.
No, here's my
Every
business
day.
card. Call me. No, I'm not gonna call you. Like, you have to prove that you have value to me before I care. So immediately when I go talk to people, I'm just a human. I connect with them on social media. I say, hey, yeah, I take that picture, that selfie I was telling you guys about.
You tell women when they have lipstick on their
So
teeth.
yes, I tell women when they have lipstick on their teeth, like, I'm real, and that's why people want to do business with me, and that's why people call me, not because I'm like, hey, if you need a referral partner, call me. In fact, if people do call me, let's say there's a realtor from Seattle, and they're like, hey, Kate, I have a referral in Chicago, do you want it? I'm not greedy, I don't say yes. I say, where in Chicago? I say, what are they looking for? I ask questions to show that I care, and then I say, you know what, that's not me. You want to go to this person. Now, I didn't get a referral fee on that, but they recognized, like, oh my God, Kate didn't selfishly take it when she shouldn't have taken it, and she gave it to someone. So I think a lot of us operate from scarcity. I think a lot of us operate from like, if I don't take this, I'm gonna lose, I'm gonna have FOMO on this client. And everything, what I found in my experience of living life on this planet is the more I give, the more I get. Like, when I stopped giving a shit about my commissions, I made way more than I ever dreamed possible. Like, my husband and I are doing our first renovation, our first flip right now, and I never could have imagined us doing that at this point in our lives before kids. So I think just, putting yourself out there and remembering it comes back 20-fold. I mean, law of attraction is legit.
That was amazing.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, not sorry. I asked you the question.
Yeah.
Real estate church.
Praise
No
real
other
estate.
questions.
Praise real estate.
I guess, thank you so much for being here. Please eat all the food. I can see a lot left over on the table.
I'm so hungry.
Please enjoy,
Did you save me a plate?
stick around and network. If you are free after this and want to stop by our Clarendon Hills office, it's 2 minutes
please
away.
do. We should all get a photo.
219 Burlington Ave, just
we
down the
should
street.
all
We'd
get a
love for you to
photo.
come
All
see
of
it.
us.
I was just
and
thinking of us, but yeah,
wanted
I'll
to
go with
plug,
everyone.
we have our first ever golf
Fundamentally
outing for
nicer than me.
charity coming up on August 21st. If you're a golfer or if you're not, if you love charity, come
Can
grab
they
one of
come
your favorite.
after? Can people come after? the
Yes, we're having an after party. So talk to one of your
After
favorite
party.
A&N loan officers, and we will get you on the list. So thank you so much for being here. We will see you next Power Hour. Bye.